Welcome back to the DIY ToyCast. I'm your host, Gordon, here with my co-host, Brett, and this is our post-Toy PizzaCon 2026 recap episode. So, Brett, I think it was I think it was legitimately the best show yet that we've been to, largely in part to the debut of this piece that we've been working on for what feels like an eternity, but
Yeah, I mean, 6 months is pretty short for production, but yeah, no, it easily the best show we've been to for Toy Pizza. We had the cohabitation with 5 points last year, and that was very fun to check out. But the weather was very unforgiving to those that weren't relegated to being indoors like us. So, yeah, we got to meet up with all our favorites at the local haunts. Got to see a lot of stuff. Got to see the debut of Paleo Lords from our good friend Dan. So that was awesome. And most importantly, we ushered in the birth of, my second child, your first, the Cursed Armor, with their third dad, Max, of Mosquito Toy Works. So yeah, it's fantastic. To everybody that turned up for the Cursed Armor, we greatly appreciate your interest in picking one up.
Yeah, totally. And we took all the money that we got from the sales and gave it right back to Max to do some more polls. So we'll be
Yeah.
having another wave of those. We're hoping pretty soon.
Yeah, I got him the money before we dipped out of Beacon, and immediately he got home and started pooling the Monday after the show. So we'll be having a very large online restock for anybody interested, and we're gonna have the primary colorway that was present at the show. If you're following any of the stuff we're doing, you've seen the pictures already of the colorway. Oh, Gordon's got the sample there.
Yeah, so
And
this sort of the
yeah,
classic purple and gold look, which Brett did an excellent job translating using the vinyl wonder paints. And so
yeah,
I have one of my little original sculpts here.
that's
You know,
sick.
I'm not in great lighting, but I sort of had this metallic blue gold color shift with I think I forget what the other color besides the purple is. It might be a blue purple for my original resin ones, and then I had a couple of these which were TPU prints at the show. Um, but it's nice to see how it's translated into the full vinyl. I really like sort of the brighter color
It's
with
it's it's very obnoxious. Like I was almost worried it was too toyetic because the other ones were so grimdark.
Mhm.
But I think the translation of that really glossy purple that we were able to cook up with Max at the
Yeah,
factory, and then those really chromatic gold paints, I think it really had a nice blend, especially at natural lighting at the show.
right.
But yeah, they we had a rapid success. I figured we would sell through them. We only brought 10. I didn't think we would have too much effort getting rid of them, but I didn't expect them to go an hour and a half into the show. So to
Yeah.
everybody that showed up and got one, we appreciate you immensely. We're already in production on for the online wave. And we'll have some other fun stuff too. We want to have a few blanks for people that are interested in doing their own or, don't want a paint option. I like
Mhm.
material colors, so we'll have some really fun stuff. One of them will be, spoilers, a full black with glitter effect. It's going to be really sharp. So look out for that on the website. We don't have no date yet, but they are coming. But
But not as fast as we we had to move for this past show. So
no, no,
that was pretty insane.
No, we're Daddy's moving at a much slower pace because I can't move like that. That was too fast and too rapid, and I'm glad we were able to land the plane on the proverbial runway, but I do not want to hustle like that ever again for production.
No, but we did want to sort of have a splashy debut for it. So, despite the holdup from the mold repairs when they found the issue with the shoulders to the delay, we so actually right from the sending over from the factory, we paid for expedited shipping, right?
Yes, I paid for well, we paid for expedited shipping to get it immediately into US Customs where it
Right.
sat for like a day and a half, and we psychotically looked at that tracking number, which I can only assume was every 45 minutes between both of us.
Probably.
And yeah, we were following that thing like it was Santa's sleigh. But the way the timeline worked out was I paid for it to leave Asia, and then Max got the mold on Thursday. He did test pools for us on a Friday. He shipped them out. I received them Monday, and then he had all the first 10 pooled by Monday, shipped them Monday. I paid for overnight shipping to my house, so he overnighted them from his shop to me. I got them Tuesday. I started prepping, and I got everything painted and left for the show Thursday morning. So,
Completely unhinged.
oh yeah, that there was a lot of caffeine. But for being at such a breakneck pace, I was really pleased with the quality. I was sweating it there for a little bit, but
Mhm.
they turned out good. They turned out really good. I'm proud of what we put out.
No, absolutely. And I'm very excited by what everybody else at the show put out. And so I actually have here laid out in front of me some of the pickups that I got from our fellow squires at the show. So I guess the first one I want to call out is actually a three-way collab if you include the pack-in figure
Hell
between
yeah.
myself, Kenneth, and Derek. And so I think actually, if you go back in our episodes, you can see us talking with Derek about this project. This is, uh, oh, I'll pull the box here because I want to get his name right.
Yeah, it's
Maurice.
the Rhinonian from Rhinon
Right. So actually, it's if you include the box, it's a four-way
with
collaboration.
yeah, with Nollywood.
We got the Nabi Wood art there.
Yeah, that rips.
We got the Sidewinder sculpt by Kenneth that Derek is using an interesting mix of it's hard PLA plastic and this is UV reactive. So if it were still, actually, I wonder, see if I
Can you
get
get your
it with my,
flashlight?
see if we can get it
We'll
to
do it
change. I
live.
don't know if it will change color on me.
Oh yeah,
Oh
looks like
yeah,
it's good.
it's getting a
Look at
little bit of
that.
purple. Yeah,
Oh, right on.
yeah. So it's a hard PLA plastic, but it's a color change under UV light. And then he's using flexible TPU inserts to have the
Yeah,
joints be able to pop and swap.
I love it.
And this is even like Derek was telling me there's some lore associated with it of like if the human sidewinders come out into the atmosphere of Rhinonia, like maybe it's noxious or something, and so the color change indicates that like their suits are becoming contaminated.
Yeah,
But
very fun play feature.
really the piece de resistance is the homemade pretender shell, which
This is so
Derek,
nuts.
completely did a full paint over.
Oh yeah.
He told me it was taking extra time because he did a white undercoat, then did a weathering wash, and then had to re-go over everything with the white to kind of bring the highlights up again. But this, all right, yeah, he actually improved on my little initial clasps so that you can pop it open.
Oh
It's
yeah.
the classic Pretender shell style. Put your little dude in there. And so this can either be like a Pretender exosuit that a guy is using as a disguise, or, it's a perfectly good Rhinonian just by itself.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so good. It has so much personality. Like I I can't believe how detailed he got that paint app to be on filament. It's so good. It looks like resin.
Yeah, no, he is a wizard with paint and a very capable 3D modeler himself. He modeled this
But yeah.
uh, power unit that has the little frogs in here, which I think he got on AliExpress. And I think these are all like UV reactive too.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
they definitely blow up in the light.
see if I can grab that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Healy tank.
Yeah. So very cool set, very deluxe, and a very cool collaboration between sort of our multiple friends of ours. Um, let's see, what else I got for show and tell. I was very glad to get a little piece from Max directly, finally.
Oh yeah.
A little Lamagon, which uh, I think is an homage to the old Marusan J-Tail Godzilla. I
Yeah.
initially thought it was the Playmates one because like that's what I grew up with, but
Right.
after looking online at like other Sotheby pictures, I'm like, oh, it's got to be this 1960s Godzilla.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
you
good.
got some sick pieces from Max too, right? As well as
Yeah, I he hooked me up with his like new standard colorway. I really like this, and it good matches his sticker.
Mhm.
So big fan of this. But this is it's funny, every time I get a new one from him, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite one. And he continues to improve on paint and insane color combos. But this thing's wild. It's got like pink to purple metallic violet sprays on the tummy, and then he's got it on the ears, full paint on the teeth and eyes, and then he's got like a cobalt and green spray on his back, like just so dynamic on this teal. And then I finally treated myself to a Gantus, his big soft vinyl, sauropod. This thing is just so crazy. But
Such
I opted for like the cayenne pepper red with cobalt sprays.
a beautiful piece. I love the expression on Gantus. It's so good.
No, I like that, and I'm also a big fan of like the swirly fat kid kneecaps he sculpted on these. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's gonna come up, but yeah, they're very fun. This thing's just got so much detail. It's a huge chunk of vinyl. Like
Mhm.
I'm I'm so pumped to pick this up and support him. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is definitely the prize of the show for me. But I mean, I got some really great stuff. Like I got some awesome stuff from Grant. I also did get that Master Chief helmet that's wearable from Travi, which is
Mhm.
awesome. But big fan of I was able to score dive bomb vector jump from Jesse's table. So shout out to Jeff for informing me that was there because I've been after this vector jump from Jesse for ages.
Yeah, and that's one of the old ones where did the included soft goods jumpsuit
Yeah.
underneath the armor.
Yeah, he's got the full suit on, which, the armor pauldrons don't really love to stay on because of it, but he's got like this crazy, tiger shark tampo, and he's got the
Mhm.
scouter on the helmet. Like this thing's paint budget is just so through the nose.
And was that released through the Knights of the Slice store, or was that with Onell?
This was through Jesse.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was, strictly because it has the pizza American flag over the chest.
Okay.
But
Good call.
I don't know if it might have been a Patreon only thing.
Mhm.
This is before my time with Toy Pizza.
I guess I also forget he sort of goes back and forth between what he calls the real type colors, which are sort of
Yeah.
the more like realistic
Oh,
military style
which is
decos.
this is one of the few real types he's done, and this is very Spiral Zone, of course.
Mhm.
But
Right.
yeah, this thing's incredible. God, I always want to see more Vector Jump. They're so fun.
Yeah, and we mentioned the debut of Paleo Lords, and I decided to splurge. I went for the full
Treat yourself.
set. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to hold the whole thing in frame, but I guess the initial debut of Paleo Lords was the three minifigs which he had at Legion's Con. So there was a
Yes.
um, new colorway of where's the third? Oh yeah, there's the little Dimetrodon. Yeah, so there's a new like lime green Dimetrodon, and then uh, I don't know what you would call this, like a kind of
Uh,
dark teal.
he was referring to it as sand green to use Lego
Okay.
terms. He's got the aeronaut.
Yeah, so the aeronaut and then the little robot droid, which I like that he did a different deco
Oh
on the back
yeah,
of the head, so it's like a little
yeah. It looks like a
V
Glion
eyeball.
visor. It's really
Yeah,
sweet.
and it's cool that just by swapping the paint apps um, on
Oh,
the
check
same
that out.
sculpt. Like this has the quad eye on the back, and that's
Yeah,
from
that
the
rules.
original preview set. So there was these three minifigures in a new colorway. There was the giant dinosaur with the opening,
Yeah,
closing mouth.
that's so insane he got that to work.
And I actually, I this is a build that's slightly different from how it was initially packed in. He has some like big meaty legs, so he can be sort of like a quadruped. But you can also take some of the little arms from one of the minifigs that
Yeah,
are like the little T-Rex arms and make them into a T-Rex. And then there
it's
are
so good.
uh, these sort of angle pieces that are used to make it so that his head goes from being, straight forward and backwards to being at a right angle, and then you can angle the tail to work as well. But then on top of that, if the various glass compatible minifigures weren't enough, he has this insanely sculpted base plate, which is two different play sets. There's the like uh carnivorous plants and lava pool set on one side, and then the launch pad on the
Nice.
other.
Nice. Yeah, it's so good. I'm kicking myself that I didn't do a better job of making the rounds of the show and being on too much booth duty, despite not needing to be, but just wanted, hang out. I was talking to people and I missed out on them, so I got to come for the online sale.
Mhm.
But that's okay. I'm so pumped he had a huge sellout wave too. Like I know he was gonna crush it. Like we've all been waiting for bated breath with this, but yeah, I mean it's so cool to see everybody show up this year and just crush it.
Yeah.
I think everybody on our line did extremely well. I know Wyatt and Julia sold some stuff with their Wicker Witches project, which is huge. I know Brendan of Sonic Atomics, he moved a couple of his Sonic bikes. Those
Hmm.
resin print ones, incredible. Derek cleaned house, Grant cleaned house, Max crushed it with his vinyl. Like it was just so good to be back in that format of a show and just everybody up there just killing. It was so sick. And the food this year was incredible. Like I can't stop talking about that pizza.
No, there's some seriously excellent pizza, and those birria tacos I had at
Drought
Draft.
Industries.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah, we did jokingly say, are we just going to go back there a second night in a row for dinner? And if you took me there, I would have not batted an eyelash. So,
I actually had birria tacos earlier this week
oh
at another
yeah.
place here. It's like,
How how did
so
they
good.
compare?
Uh, I would
Pretty
say
good.
they were on par. Yeah,
Damn. Damn,
yeah,
all right. I think that's the move tomorrow for our house for dinner then.
nice.
Sick. Yeah, but fantastic show. All of our love and thanks to Jesse for putting on a beautiful setup at the yard.
Hmm.
And the live music upstairs jam was such a vibe. It was so great to hang out with Ben Gillespie, see him
Yeah,
up there slapping away on bass, crushing it. Um, you
see
know,
Marcus back on drums.
dude, I mean, we have to I don't know what we have to do to get like a crowdfund to get him and his brother's group Crypto Phaser to come play, but like let's see that next year. That's what I want to see.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a fantastic weekend. I knew it was going to be good regardless of how the armor had turned out. Even if we just had prototypes to show off, but it was so meaningful to get to be back at that show where you and I met 4 years ago, and then like 4 years to the day where they're unveiling actual production toys as a group together, and they're domestically made. I mean, it's a whirlwind. It's crazy, and it shouldn't work, but it did, and we crushed it. So
Yeah, and I'm excited to see the potential for future collaborations that will come from this. Like, I guess we haven't fully uh, gone through the. Oh well, there you go. I
yeah,
was going to
I got
say
I got the
the
promo poster coming
upcoming
soon.
work.
The Giganar. Yeah, so
Mhm.
this is going to be the kaiju collaboration between myself and Cool Cat Toy Co., our buddy Grant. He did a beautiful job sculpting our 4-inch kaiju, covered in detail, scales, just spikes out the wazoo. And it's going to be a simple two-piece, cut at the waist. But we all love Godzilla. We're all huge kaiju people, and in vinyl, it's you kind of have to have your own. So
Mhm.
I wanted to kind of spark something between old retro and early Pokemon Gen 1 beta sprites. I'm a big
Mhm.
fan of that early stuff. And I approached Grant, and he's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing a kaiju anyway." And I was like, "All right, well, let's collab, let's tag team it. You do the sculpt and get all the promo work ready, and I'll put it into production."
Mhm.
And he got done with it, and I said, "That is so good, I don't even want to hold it in my hand. Let's just send it to the factory." So it's been in production. It's moving along to get into metal molds, and I finally got to hold the prototype. So that was really nice. It was excellent. But I'm staring at it right now. He's over on the shelf, but he's a solid chunk of resin. But he will be a really, really fun vinyl figure when he's here.
Yeah, and it's great that we're able to pull, our friends who work in traditional sculpting or
Yeah.
have these different aesthetics and use the work that we've done, you know, collabing with Max, and getting our own stuff into production and use that to kind of carry along our buddies with us.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely like unbelievable that we get to even do any of this.
Mhm.
Like I'm so fortunate he was into the idea. But while we're on the topic of the man himself, he does have his own Fulsafubi that's coming, and it's going to be a monolith of
Yeah.
size and proportions. So he's putting Anchor Fist into production, and it's going to be done through Clutter. So I have no images to show this. This is all his, but yeah, that's going to be killer. He had some artwork showing off at Toy Pizza Expo, so that'll if anyone wants to see more of that, just check in with him. I'm sure he'll have some posts up on Instagram or something at Cool Cat Toy Co. But yeah, he's going to have this just huge monster of a diver with an anchor arm and, two-sided head. It's a beast. So I'm really looking forward to him getting his first production run done with that.
Yeah, and it's cool that the domestic Sotheby avenue has opened up as a viable way for smaller makers like us to get our stuff out there as a production piece without having to uh, you know fight our way through full Chinese factory production from start to finish. You and I talking to Dan, and what it took to get Paleo Lords out. He's been at it for 6 years.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know if I have the gumption for that. To be honest. I mean, I'm a huge toy guy, clearly, we're on the DIY Toycast, but I don't know if I believe in anything I'm into that enough to go that long and commit to it fully to that point. But my man did it,
Yeah,
and they're beautiful, and we got to see some of the stuff he's got in the pipe, and it's just what an incredible refresh to Glios in a way where everything is like scale creep and everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's like, what if we go smaller? What if we
mhm,
make it pocket friendly? And I think the value proposition is an incredible thing with it. And it's going to have just so much interplay with already existing lines. Plus, he's getting to have a bit of a vinyl renaissance with a Glios
yeah,
joint that way. And it's like,
right.
yeah, it's just incredible to see everything come to fruition under Toy Pizza Expo. I mean, it's just what a fantastic group of people.
Yeah, totally. And what a incredible karaoke singer.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody could have crushed Sean Paul in that place except him. So I'm glad he got to wear my sunglasses for it,
Mhm.
and I'm glad we went to karaoke. My headache Saturday morning did not thank me, and the 5 hours of sleep I had did not help for the show. But hey, hey, we made
Yeah,
it, and we were there on time.
that's
So
right.
I'm proud of us.
No, luckily this year was not as hard on me as last year was with you constantly handing me PBRs at Happy Valley.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like the clown car of Infinite Beer, and then the year prior was we went to Jet Set Tiki, and then we didn't know they had a beer menu until an hour before we left, and everyone was completely shit wrecked on my ties. So but I think that was nice. I
Mhm.
think that was, yeah, I think that was good. But no, it was nice to every year we rein it in a little bit more. Not too
Mhm.
much, we still had a hand, but not too much.
And it was nice that even though our good buddy Kenneth wasn't able to make it there in person, we were able to get him a prototype. He's been posting some really sick pictures of that up on Instagram. And he was there in toy form and through multiple avenues. He had his
Yes. Yes.
Zermbees both in the highly detailed
Crazy paintwork.
airbrush painted resin ones that are still articulated. They got the leg joints, arm joints, which I'll be very careful with. And then I'm not going to try to yank it off, but I will. He does have this gimmick that carries through to the TPU ones that you did with him, which are the
Yes.
solid color with glow eyes, where the ball joint,
Is a little baby brain.
yeah, it's a little brain, which is incredible. Like that's extremely Playmates to me to have the
Yeah, for sure.
head removable to show the brain underneath.
Yeah,
But these are,
those were so fun to print out. I mean, that's one of those few times, like I've done so many different runs of printed figures, and I've always had these little armies, but it was like this is the one time I feels like, oh, I have like a real troop builder here that I don't want to get rid of after I had like, a bunch of these things printed out, taken over my little fantasy display. But and those do glow in the dark. So you have to hit them with heavy UV light, but those will have like an indigo glow. Yeah. Oh, look at
yes,
those eyes hit. Oh yeah,
yeah.
that rips. Yeah, that color is so fun. It's just so gross.
Yeah,
Oh
and
man.
I don't have it with me or within arm's reach, but he packed these into little like uh uh, uh
Radiation containers.
right
Yeah.
with a little mini slime that you could pour over it so you could kind of do the Tarman homage from Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Yeah. He crushed it. I was so glad to see his work there. And we got to call in and talk with Kenneth, which was
Yeah.
awesome too. I'm glad our buddy Bob Kirk got to roll around and FaceTime Kenneth while he's been undergoing his treatment.
Mhm.
So it was, we terribly missed having him at the show, but to be able to have him there digitally was also epic, and he got to chat with everybody.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking forward to most for next year is having Kenneth there,
Yes.
having Brandon there, to
Yes.
be able to see the full force of the Goblin Toy Forge and like you go, what will that be four different finals at that point, counting the ooze?
Hey, no less than four. What have I said? No less than four projects this year. Um, yeah, I mean, we play our cards right. Hey, we might have three more by then, so we'll see. But you know me, I'm a man of many ideas and not many of them good. So we will continue keeping on with vinyl production. But yeah, we'll have including the oozes, there will be four separate vinyl figures there next year. So that's very exciting. The armor, the ooze, the Giganar, and another one that's currently in the pipe. So we'll get to that when we get to it.
Leave a little mystery for future
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
Some other cool stuff to see was Eric stuff. I think he goes both by Glios Build on Instagram, and then also he has his little guys called the Bitter Blades,
Yeah, this rule.
and he had some really cool little knight dudes. I love this like Hound Skull helmet that he
Yeah,
did for
I
one.
yeah, I need to message him and pick those up. Those are so good.
Where's the other little guy? Oh yeah, here's the one which I knew that I was going to get as soon as I saw him post about it because it reminds me of the Elite Knight helmet from Dark Souls
Yes.
1.
Yes, very much so.
But did this really cool setup,
Oh,
very
he had
reminiscent.
the best diorama by a mile.
Well, and then he had a build a night station where there
Yes.
was a box of
Parts.
torsos, heads, left arms, right arms, left boot, right boot, and so you could just pick them out and build your own custom, which both is fun because it's the ability to do customization and sort of pick your favorite colors, but also nicely demonstrates the Glyos building system that
Yeah.
he's using to assemble.
So are th those are done on Glyos pegs?
So the arms uh, are that's it. Yeah, so that can fit
Okay.
in. So
And
like actually,
are
so
those on TPU sockets or are those ABS prints?
so the limbs and head are ABS, but the torso is TPU. So I don't know.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
You might not be able to get a full zombie arm in his shoulder socket, but then you can give him the one coming out the back.
Ah, perfect. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, his stuff's those were incredible. I did not do a good enough job this year making the rounds.
I mean, there was so much sort of visual cool stuff concentrated in such a small space. I feel like I did a bad job with my table setup of I'm like, here's my TPU prints, here's a bunch of loose toys, here's some comic books.
I don't know. I thought it was great because when people came down the run, they're greeted with this like amazing like mishmash of all this fun shit. And then like within just like a blink, and it's like, wait, why is this like table full of vinyl with this? Like what's good? It was very like, what is going on?
Mhm.
But it was good. And you did move a large amount of prints and comics.
Yeah, no,
We
that's probably this show is probably the most I've moved of the ones
oh
I've attended.
yeah, I mean, and that's not to say like all the stuff on the story refresh of your prints. Like I think we have like four cursed armor left. Like, and that's only in red. Like everything else is gone.
Hmm.
So this have been very successful show for you. I mean, I did well too. All of my wife's projects that she had come along with me, those were very great too. So, but you crushed it. You cleaned up, and it was great to get rid of some of those loose long box comic runs you had.
Yeah, yeah. And it's nice again, like what's so special about the Toy Pizza Expo experience is like you get to have a conversation with the people who stop by the table
Right.
for it. By and large, there were some people who like the guy who came and like picked up the GoBots was thinking real hard about whether he was going to go with them. He's like, "Are
Unreal.
these knockoffs?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, probably." They're I think what were they priced at? They were like $5 a piece, and I
They were
knocked a
five.
dollar
They were
dollar off or
$5.
something.
I mean, it was like, bro, like if this is $5, I don't think it matters if it's a knockoff. Like you're not gonna find a better deal than this.
Mhm,
Okay, and if they are knockoff, like great, that's harder to come by as far as I know.
mhm,
But th he was the only one that was kind of an oddity that really just sat there for about 10 minutes and just until you were like, I'll make you a deal, and then he was like, oh great. It was so funny to me. I mean, it was like, dude, I don't think you're gonna get out of here for like food and drink for under $5. So I don't.
mhm,
That I feel like we had some of the best impulse table. Like there was so much well-priced fun shit.
mhm.
But no, that was very funny. But speaking of talking to people, I got the chance to finally talk with Bill from Dork Lair,
That was
and
so
he
cool.
and he
Yeah.
picked up one of our armors and did some beautiful photography with it after the show. But it was really nice just to, spread some love and tell him know how much I enjoy tuning in on his streams when the Goliath guys come on and everything he does for, the community we love. It's so cool to see it branch out into something bigger.
Yeah. And you and I have been talking about the possibility of Legion's Con as another avenue through which to show off our work. And like, I think there's a great overlap there for people who are into fantasy stuff. But also, if you're in the Glios Alley and are kind of
Yeah,
aware of small makers that
yeah, of
like
course.
that aspect is interesting to the Legion's community as well. And like when I went, the majority of the show floor was taken up by different customizers who are doing
Right.
3D printed resin heads that are custom painting or like full figure customizations or diorama pieces or they had a bunch of other uh, independent lines like Plunderlings who are also set up at Toy Pizza Expo this year.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would really like to go. I've never been, but it's not a bad drive for me at all. And I Max was really gung ho about me trying to make it out for it. So, even if we didn't table, just take a backpack and have him sell them out of the back of it. That's
Mhm.
pretty fun. I mean, that's pretty much to our DIY ethos of hustling domestic vinyl. But That would be cool. And even just like to show it off and like, just check it out. Because it's a show I'd like to see.
Mhm.
Because we're huge fantasy guys. I love sword and sorcery. And that is such an, incredible community of people that are so into that line and everything the horsemen do. And, every interaction I've had with the horsemen at different shows, they're so welcoming, they're so nice. They bought a bunch of our stuff. Our buddy Diego that works for the
Yeah.
Horsemen, he bought the first armor. He was there immediately at 8 a.m. before like anybody else. He's like, "Oh, you guys are here sick." I mean, it's just like, oh, it's so crazy. So, but no, it's good. I That would be a good show to check out. Plus, we get to see our homies.
Yeah. And anybody watching this cast, like I would encourage, if you're within reasonable travel distance of the show, it's definitely a good one to check out. It's a manageable size. Um, People are happy to talk about their work and process. They're not just there to move product. Um,
Yeah.
Although there's some seriously cool stuff to be had if that's what you're there for. But there's a similar like nice balance of kind of community and sort of offering of different cool stuff to check out.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad there's more of this like really intense hyper focus interest on very specific lines and companies whenever it's like you have the Ryobi booth at San Diego Comic Con now, like it's just you, which is funny because I feel like there probably has more basis of that stuff being at one of our shows with all the DIY customizing. But
Mhm.
yeah, I am very happy to not attend any more Corpo sponsored conventions.
Well, we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever Goblin Fest that we're gonna host gets sponsored by AT&T, I'll go. You guys will be the first to know.
Right.
But no, it was an excellent weekend. I was glad we could meet up early and pal around and sweat to death before we met up with everybody. It was pretty hot, so it was a
Yeah.
toasty one on Friday.
And then on Sunday after the show, we had a good time at the Beacon Flea. I think I
Yeah.
made
Oh,
the
yeah,
best
there
score
he
of the
is.
weekend.
Oh, for a buck? No
Finster.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finster Safubi for $1. Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
I find it charming that he has like the marker marks on his ass
He got shit
from
ass. Yeah.
well, probably from banging around in somebody's toy box.
Oh,
But
he's loved. Well, but
it's
other than a little bit of paint rub, like he's got awesome paint. Like he's in great shape.
yeah, and the sculpt is really impressive. Like he's got these little feathers
Yeah.
around on the tips of his ears. He's got the monocle as part of his glasses, and then like the hanging monocle on
Hmm.
his uh, robe. Some of
And,
the
and and the pointed toe shoes go pretty hard.
yeah, no, it's a very cool design, and it's interesting to see where the joint cuts are thinking about, Sotheby assembly and
Hmm.
like what you can realistically pull out of a mold with a character this size. Because like I think, yeah, his head is attached to his torso,
That's
so
so that's
it all came out as one piece like that.
it's so crazy.
And so now, now that we're getting into the vinyl sphere, it's interesting to go to the shelf and pull stuff off and kind of figure out why different engineering choices are made, and think about how you can use that knowledge in your own design work or adapting sort of pre-existing sculpts, like what I did with the armor.
Yeah, I mean, I think the translation was, pretty magnificent, and apparently so did everybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's put a lot of wind in my sails to see other people, taking photos and posting them, talking about how excited they are, or our friend Lou doing fan art of
Yeah, that
the Sofubi, even though he
incredible.
doesn't have one yet. So
Yeah,
shout out to
well,
Lou.
yeah, well, I
Classic
mean,
stuff.
yeah, our boy's gonna end up just printing his own, so
Mhm.
he'll have a one-off with the 3D pen.
That'd be sick.
It would be. It would be nuts. Yeah, I'm really pumped. I guess this is like the cat in the bag. I did my own one-off colorway on mine with Goblin's Lair instead of the gold. And this got a lot of positive reception, so I'm thinking we'll probably do that as a production run. I don't know why we wouldn't, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's gross and really, iridescent and weird and, kind of strange shit I'm into, so I'm pumped about it.
yeah, and it's amazing how many different looks you can get out of this with just the head swaps and then the different oversprays of paint without having to cut in with heavy detail. Um,
Oh yeah, I mean, I also think that just speaks to the insane amount of detail on your sculpt and then my helmet that Kenneth did for me.
yeah,
I mean, they're just swimming with detail.
no, it helps to do a lot of the work. And that's what makes the blanks work so great just by themselves. Like this test
Oh,
pool
there he
that you
is.
gave me that Max did that's sort of in a stone blue with glitter in it. I love just taking this out and and looking at it and shifting it under the light.
Glitter's a trip, man. Like I love painted stuff, but like glitter, you can just sit there for hours. Just ogle at it.
Well, and something that I've been constantly impressed with on all the polls, since seeing those initial photos that you showed me, I think of when you got them in hand, or
Hmm.
maybe even when like Max started doing the test pulls, is how glossy the surface is from the metal mold. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's funny to see this shift in quality versus like the oozes on a glove mold, which I'm doing gloss sprays on them to bring them up to a factory standard that I'm happy with. But see, I mean, this is what you pay for,
mhm. Well,
right?
and not
It's
only the surface quality, but then also the growth in size, which
yeah,
we
I
were
guess we
not
should probably talk
expecting.
about our boy took his vitamins while he was in China.
Yeah, so we were expecting it to come in at about whatever 4 inches,
Yeah.
standard 1/18th, like adjacent height. Um, but I guess through Max's discussions with the factory, they decided to scale it up by, I would say, nearly a head's worth of height.
Yeah, like probably like 35% if I was doing a mathematics number, which I'm just, throwing off the top of my head, but that's what it looks like about to me. So they're just like a head under Motu now.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, these play really well with Origins, especially if you like play sets for Origins. Gordon and I are rapidly approaching the purchase of Fright Zones for them to sleep in.
Mhm.
So,
But I love the added weight that it gives to it. And also just the hand feel or texture of the vinyl is so
yeah.
nice after having handled the 3D prints for uh,
6 months.
5+ months. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's surreal to see. And the foot stamp came out great too. I mean, it really everything firing at all cylinders. I really can't ask for much more.
No, we're just
It's yeah, I mean, I think I speak for both of us when I say we're ecstatic, but I am, a week out from having the full run from the debut preview wave, whatever you want to call it, show wave, painted and had mine in hand and got yours out to you a week from tomorrow, and it's still surreal that we have like factory production shit in hand.
yeah.
It's so strange. Like, I come home and I like look at my shelf and I'm like, oh, that's ours. How weird.
Mhm.
But no, we're pumped. We're ever grateful to Max and him dealing with my incessant badgering about production guidelines and times. So,
No, and it's great to have a piece that we've followed from inception to full production because I feel like that gives you a greater appreciation of any of this other stuff that we have. Like to see Dan out there doing full factory, bullying the factory into doing vinyl again after they said
yeah.
no. And plus, a full line of new Glyos figures with varying scales that are still all cross-compatible with pre-existing Glyos, plus the like heavily sculpted base plate that also has like Glyos ports built into it.
Yeah, the giant slab of PVC.
You know, I understand why something like this would take 6 years.
Oh,
having gone through, 6 months to get what I thought was a relatively modest first goal of like, we'll do a 4 POA figure
yeah.
with two heads. And we have the sculpts.
No, I mean, and I think it also helped that we had done so much of our own in-house, print production. I've had so many engineering things that I've done with the flex joint system we were doing with TPU, and then all the, engineering stuff you tackled doing early resin. And just being knowing Blender the way you do and knowing your figure and character and the way the sculpt has behaved over all these many iterations, getting it to this point really did not seem like it was much of a chore for you. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's what, since uh, Brendan, Sonic Atomics, had started bugging me for doing the GLaDOS compatible guitar, which then eventually morphed into his Sonic Atomics. Um, Having to learn all these different tricks to work on projects for other people, like doing some light customization of parts for Jesse, for some add-on
yeah,
pieces for uh, different Knights of the Slice projects. Um, that's all equipped me to go in and make modifications to my initial sculpt from my initial sculpt to something that would work better for vinyl in the end. And then, but I would also say, like, if you're interested in going down the avenue of US vinyl production, it's not prohibitively expensive. What Brett and I have been saying to people is like, think of a high-end gaming PC. That's like ballpark what you should
yeah,
be expected to work in the range of, adding on cost of if you're going to hire somebody else to do the sculpt for them,
right, right.
pay them well.
Yeah, and cover unit cost, for your first, I don't, whatever amount of pools you want to run, molds, and then paints and such if you're going to do it yourself. But um, I think this is a good testament to our friendship and a good testament to what the community is capable of in the creative space from where, we have at the internet. But, all that to say, if we can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm kind of a bozo and I figured out airbrushing like pretty solidly. Definitely room to improve, but for a first run, it's going well. So and I'm gonna keep at it. I got some really fun stuff I want to do for future projects and different figures. So the airbrush experience will be much needed. But for what we're doing now, it's coming along great.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of different avenues to potentially expand this in. Like you and I have been talking about using some little soft goods for doing like the scarf that the original character design has,
Yeah,
but I specifically removed in my
yeah.
sculpt so that we could do soft
Do
goods if
soft
we
goods.
wanted. Also, it just makes like the neck clearance work a
Yeah,
little bit better.
yeah.
But
Yeah, which in hindsight, if you had kept it, I think we would have been okay on sprays for it. But
mhm.
I like it better without it. I think it'll be more fun once we start tackling some homemade soft goods.
Well, and that also opens us up to the opportunity to do either like a cape or like a
Yeah.
full cloak around the thing. So
Hmm.
you by doing mixed media on the Sotheby figure, you can get a much more wider variety of looks as opposed to just having it locked into the sculpt itself.
Right, right, of course. No, that'll be fun to figure out this year and just get some other fun like hand feel stuff
Mhm.
on the figure. I like soft goods. I think they add a lot of quality to a figure. Like obviously, like my Grail Knights of the Slice was a vector jump with a jumpsuit underneath. So no, I'm all on board for it. It'll be a lot of fun to check out.
Yeah.
So, but at the show we get to talk to Jake and his wife from Tank Dino for a little bit. So next thing after, we got a couple months of production moving forward for some online stuff we want to do, but we will both be at 413 Fest up in
Yeah.
your neck of the woods in Columbus Day weekend. So that'll be Jake's putting that show on. That'll be a really, really good spot.
Yeah, that's always a nice show. Super easy for me, but Jake always gets an awesome crowd of people. Like
Oh
I
my
feel like
God.
that's what convinced you to go down the vinyl rabbit hole, was seeing all that stuff.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, I told you this like probably a bazillion times, but I mean, when I was talking to him, I told him at the show, I said, if I did not go up to that show, I would have never thought about doing vinyl.
Mhm.
I had talked to Max a little bit about it, but we talked a lot more at Jake's place after the show, and all the guys that were at the show were like, "Oh yeah, this would be sick in vinyl. You should check it out. We're doing it." And
Mhm.
it's like, well, where do you start at? Like okay, I want to do it, but where do you go? And luckily I got to talk with Mosquito about everything, and he was way on board to shepherd us through the process. And yeah, I mean, I think that show to me is just as important as Toy Pizza now. So,
Yeah,
and it's a sick excuse for me to come up, and hang out in Mass with you for the weekend. So,
yeah. No, and
but
it'll open up. It will be very cool to return to the show having set up there just with the 3D printed stuff, which was cool. We were like
oh
the
yeah,
only guys there doing th our own 3D printed toys. I think there was someone across from us who were doing like the Flexi Dragons and stuff and the Dice Towers, which like is cool, but
yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I think you said it best, doing our own 3D
right.
printed toys. It was like stuff we designed and created. He was on the Maker World slop train, which I think that stuff's fine. To me, it's a little bit long in the tooth, and
Mhm.
you know, I've always wanted to be in production of some way to make my own toy. I didn't think I'd be doing it in software, but it's a medium I've really grown to love and appreciate, and to be part of it it's incredible. So we'll be returning to Northampton with some very beefy armor and some really obnoxious colorways if I have my way. So
Right.
that'll be good. And that'll be right around Halloween, so we should have some really fun gross colors for that too. So I'm
Yeah,
pumped.
it will be fun seeing stu the uh Matt from Studio Kabuto and his wife again.
Yeah.
Because I had never gotten into a longer conversation with them until I went down to MomoCon for the
Right.
Wonderfest US, but got to talk to him more and pick up this
Oh
piece of
yeah.
his.
That thing rips.
Despite having seen his and his wife's work for probably something like 7, 8 years, because I realized that like they had been setting up at 5 Points in Brooklyn back when I used to go to that show.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's going to be really cool to like be able to show him the cursed armor next to some of his pieces. Because
It's kind of
like,
fun. It's kind of fun how in scale that is, like unintentionally.
yeah, I mean, like, this would be a perfect like Beastie
Kaiju fight.
Boys,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I was gonna say kaiju
inter
big battle, but yeah.
right, redo the intergalactic video with these.
Yeah, I'm into that. But it's like a dungeon synth version of
Mhm.
Intergalactic.
And like, another figure that I love putting this next to is
Oh fuck yeah.
Scott's uh Necro Barbarian.
Yeah, Necrovenger
Or ne
by Barbarian Rage, our friend Scott Cherry. He's the man. Huge, huge inspiration on me.
Totally. Both in aesthetic and sort of ethos to the whole creative approach of making stuff accessible, being welcoming to other makers.
Yeah, he said on a podcast I listened to and this really stuck with me. He said if the next thing you're making isn't the coolest thing you've ever done, why are you doing it? And every time I'm like, we should do this, and then I think about this, and like, does that track? And then usually it does, at least in my
Mhm.
mind. So I think that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, and like the approach of making toys for yourself first, and like if you're amped on it, then other people are going to
Oh,
respond to it.
oh, this was just for you and me.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
if we didn't sell a single one, I don't give a shit. Like,
right.
this had to come into fruition one way or the other. I'm glad at the reception. I'm really thankful for the reception because we'll pay off the molds.
Right.
But that being said, we were content to be like, all right, we can just eat it. We'll have our own sick armies, and no one else will have them, and that's okay too.
Mhm.
But oh
Yeah,
man,
I it's funny for as much of the 3D printing I've done, I'm like, I'm happy with this. I don't need any more than this. But now having the vinyl in hand, I'm like, oh shit, this is so much
Oh,
better.
yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to throwing like, 5 to 10 pulls for myself and just having my own horde,
Hmm.
you know. I keep wanting to do that with the uses and being like, all right, just get me 10 of these in the most disgusting green you can make, and then I'll keep them.
Hmm. So how many do you keep a sample from like the different runs of oozes that you do, or do
Nope,
you just
I had him pull a one-off marble for me that I
Mhm,
really wanted in that red and green color scheme that I'm real into, and I just held on to that one.
mhm,
You know, I've printed so many of these fucking things. They're always still just floating around my house one way or the other. So I'll be like, like I'll open up one of like Carter's toy drawers and there's like a printed slime and I'm like, I'm so tired of seeing these. So I'm very content that they don't manifest into my house, especially
mhm,
in production vinyl. But that being said, I should probably get like a good run for myself to have my own personal army at
mhm.
some point. I think that would be fun to do. The armor would be a little more expensive to do for myself, but we spent money on dumber, so
Yeah, but I think these initial test bolts that we got from Max are will always hold sort of the sentimental value as well as the aesthetic
yeah.
draw.
Yeah, I mean that being said, like I already ordered myself like a one-off for myself that's going to be my daily carry.
Mhm,
But yeah, this was a test shot that I had just painted. So I don't really want to make this like the daily driver of what I'm taking with me. I kind of not that I can't, but there's so much legacy and work that went into this. He kind of needs to be relegated to be the leadership on the vinyl shelf. But yeah, anything else, or you think we would wrap it up there?
I think that that's probably a good spot to wrap. We want to make sure to send our thanks out to Papa Brian Flynn for hooking you up with some money for the production
Oh, bro,
funds.
dude, the funniest thing. Okay, this is like a really funny little tangent. I don't know if you caught me like staring at my phone for like a solid 30 seconds. I had a update on my PayPal of like a payout to me. I was like, what is this for? Like, did somebody pay me at the show and it not go through? And I legitimately did just get a sponsorship payout from Super 7. So, hey, we're back on being corporate
Yeah.
shills.
Look
Super
for the
7
link in
will.
the description.
Yeah, it's link in bio. Aegis Station at checkout. Use that promo code Aegis_Station, all caps. Get this podcast paid. Super Seven's going to sponsor Goblin Fest next year. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, for real though, where can people find you online, Brett?
You can find me at Aegis_Station on Instagram, and you can find me and Gordon at GoblinToyForge.com and Goblin Toy Forge on Instagram. Gordon, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Vladimir the Batamir and here on YouTube for the DIY ToyCast. Um, and until next time, catch you later.
Stay cursed.